Well, good evening, folks. It's a day late, but we did have Christmas, and thank you for joining us for a Confederate Minute with Isenhour Speaks. And we're going to have some fun tonight talking about common sense. Now, some of you folks may think common sense, but you have to realize that most of you don't have common sense. I'm just saying, that's all. We'll see if you do or don't. We have a huge movement in Virginia, and it's actually affecting other states as well, but let's focus on Virginia. We call it the Second Amendment Sanctuary County Movement, and it's huge. We have now 114 counties, I believe, that and localities that declared them as sanctuary counties. Some of them are different, little different, but they're about 110. So pretty much all the state. And we have a lot of confusion going on, a lot of confusion. But what we want to talk about is our reaction to this and why we need to be focused on this and use common sense. Okay, let me explain. There have been some folks in this movement, I won't name their names, but they're good patriots, and they're putting videos out and they're talking about this, and they're saying, listen folks, please focus on the Second Amendment, and when you come to Richmond on Lobby Day, January 20th, which we want you, don't come with your agenda, whether it may be Confederate flags, it may be Confederate monuments, it could be pro-abortion, pro-life, it could be all kinds of things. It could also be militia coming in their full battle gear. It could be lots of issues. And so the call has been going out to a few of us who say, listen, we want you to be here. We want your support. But come with one agenda, and that is the Second Amendment. That's what we're focusing on. Now let's talk about this for a second. As most of you know, and if some of you don't know, I am a Virginia flagger. I am one of the original Virginia flaggers. I have spent more time on the streets of Virginia holding a Confederate flag than most people, period. I've also spent a lot of time at night guarding monuments. I've also spent a lot of time putting up flags and guarding flagpoles and maintaining flagpoles. And so let's just say I got credit in this. Now, what most of you don't know about me is during this time as a political flagger, as a Virginia flagger, I have been involved in Virginia politics. Yes, I have been behind the scenes with Virginia politics. I'm not a politician. In fact, I don't even like politicians. But I have been involved in the political movement. I've been behind the scenes. I also came from the Tea Party. In other words, I was with the Virginia Tea Party, one of the first members of the Tea Party here in Virginia. So I have a lot of experience with this type of situation, defeating legislation, advancing legislation, and stopping kind of crazy things that the governor is doing. Now, when the call has gone out to folks, don't bring the Confederate flag, for instance. Look at me. I am a Virginia flagger. Do you not think that I love the flag? I will die for that flag. But there's times that you need to realize common sense. There are times when you don't show that color. You just keep it under your vest. It's not important. You're not trying to do anything there. Also, the Confederate monuments. Folks, I spent 3 months on a Confederate monument 2 years ago protecting this stuff. So don't tell me that I am demanding that you don't bring your flags, or you don't bring your firearms and stuff. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we have to use common sense. That's all anyone ever saying. So I'm hearing all this stuff about, well, you don't tell me I'm going to do it. We don't tell me. No one's telling you anything. We're asking you politely and nicely and sincerely say, help the Second Amendment movement. That is the first objective. That's what this Lobby Day is all about. That's just, or what we're doing with the Lobby Day. The other issues are there, but they will come out later on. So there are times to be smart. Nathan Bedford Forrest did not always show his colors. Sometimes he went behind the scenes. Mosby is a great example of this. John Singleton Mosby was the Confederate ghost because they didn't know where the heck he was, because he kept his people hidden until it was time to go do the work at hand, mess with the Yankees. So for you folks who are putting on Facebook, oh, well, I'm not going to do it. Don't tell me I'm going to do it. Shut up. Just shut up. I'm tired of hearing it. I don't see you in the trenches. There are very few people who could come to me and say, well, Barry, I disagree with you, because they have been with me in the trenches for 10 years. Most of you folks, you ain't been there, because I've been there and you weren't there. So stop all this this nonsense about nobody gonna tell me anything. Nobody. It's called common sense. We're trying to achieve an objective. That's all we're trying to do. We're focusing. That's all it is a focus on getting a job done. And it's a very important job. And this is one of several jobs that we will have to do in the General Assembly this year. And every year, to be honest with you. So this is just taking it one step at a time and not confusing the things. There's also a lot of folks who want to show up with what we call their agendas. I call those folks the wannabes. Those are the guys and the ladies who want to have their 15 minutes of fame, whether it's with the Confederate flag or whether it's showing up as a militia or something like that. So there are a lot of people who are on the outskirts of all these organizations that want to prove stuff. And they usually are very, how can I say, very eager to find a camera, i.e. a news person, and make statements that are ridiculous and out of control, and they do not help the situation at all. There are a lot of them out there, unfortunately. Don't be one. Show up, support the Second Amendment. The other thing I want to mention about, and I've mentioned this last Confederate Minute, we are fighting the state of Virginia. We're trying to uphold the Constitution of the state of Virginia. We're not trying to undo the federal legislation, because there is no federal legislation that I'm aware of that they're trying to do to us right now. So this Second Amendment is based off our Virginia Constitution, Bill of Rights. It says we can form militias and we can have guns, and you cannot seize them. You cannot take them from you. You cannot regulate them. It's a very, very beautiful thing in our Constitution. A very strong Second Amendment clause in our Constitution. Read it. It's very easy to do. Read your Virginia Constitution. So this is a state issue. Yes, if they take over Virginia, you better believe they're going to go after other states, because we are a test case of what they're trying to do. Common sense. Remember that word, common sense. Be smart. That's all we're asking. If you're going to show up with let's just forget the Confederate flag for a moment. Let's just say that you're coming for another agenda. I don't care what it is, whether it's pro-life. I'm a pro-life person. But this is not the moment to do that. You want to lobby your legislature about pro-life? Please do. I beg you to do that. There are lots of groups that do that. Join them. They are very, very good at what they do. Same thing with the Virginia Flaggers. We do certain things, and we're always looking for people to join us. But that lobby day is not the one. We're trying to be there to protect the Second Amendment, because without the Second Amendment, I can't keep the flags up. I can't protect life. The Second Amendment gives the citizens, Virginia citizens, the right to do what we do. We're free people. It's very important. So stop all this chatter. Let me tell you something. Redneck, if you're out there in the trenches with me, come talk to me. But you're not in the trenches with me, because I would already know you. I already know the rednecks are in the trenches with me. And I've been out there for years, almost 20 years doing this. And like I said, I don't see you folks out there. So you just want to come. You want to talk about, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do that. No one's saying you can't do. I would never tell anyone that they could fly a Confederate flag or not fly a Confederate flag. I'm a flagger. But I do know there are times to do flagging, and there's times to just sit by and do other things. It's not running for the colors. My motto, the Virginia Flaggers motto, is we run to the colors. We don't run away from the colors. And we always do that. And this is not that situation. We're going as Second Amendment supporters. We're trying to stop the governor, Mr. Kuhlman, from destroying our Second Amendment rights here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. That is the objective. Focus on that. That's all we're saying. Just focus on that. Please come. But remember, be smart about it. I would say don't bring your long rifles, so your hunters and militia. Don't bring your long rifles or whatever you want. If you have a concealed carry permit, do so. It's being smart. This is time in politics to be smart. That's what we're trying to do. Be smart. And I want you all to join. I want you to be there January 20th. We're going to have a wonderful day of fellowship, and it will be fellowship. You'll see a lot of people from all over the state and getting all over the country who support the Second Amendment. You'll make a lot of friends. It'll be a beautiful day, and I'm pretty sure the weather will be nice too. You come out in the Tea Party. I made thousands of friends in the Tea Party in the years that we were doing that. I mean, complete strangers from all over the country. You have that bond together. And we have a group coming together, whether it be hunters, whether it be Second Amendment advocates, whether it be just Virginians who just want to who want to exercise their constitutional right in the state of Virginia. They all come together. You are making friends. You have bonds that come together. It's a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful thing when the populace, what we call grassroots, comes together and says one voice, one thing, not 100 voices saying 100 different things. And that's what this focus is. That day, we're going to focus on one thing, the Second Amendment. Now, if you have issues with that, you can leave comments. If you got guts enough to do it, if you got guts enough to say something to me in a tone that you're trying to take this out of my tone. No one's saying don't show up with your stuff. I'm just saying be smart. Common sense. We have to be common sense. We have a lot of enemies against us. And right now, the press is just itching to find some yahoo out there trying to do it, showing up with a Klan suit or something crazy like that. That's what they're looking at. You can have 1 million people, and you can have one idiot in there, and the press will find that one idiot, and that will be on the news. It's happened time and time again. We've seen it 100 times over the years here in Virginia with the Virginia flaggers, where we have people who show up, claim they're Virginia flaggers, which they're not, and they do have their own agenda, and they show up on the news, and they really discredit all of us. That's all we're trying to say is let's focus. Now, y'all have a good evening and a good weekend. And if you want to leave comments, if you want to say that I'm wrong about this, if you got guts, better be prepared. Because like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. And I'm just being honest with y'all. I'm just forthright in saying I love you. I want you to be there with us. We need your support. But stop your agenda at home. Come and be a group member. And the group is fighting the Second Amendment for the state of Virginia. And we'd love to have y'all. Y'all have a happy new year. We'll talk to you later on in the new year. Bye-bye.